So, I want to see if you get it right, if you remember what the worst moment we had as a married couple was on the show.
I know what it is because it's the first time I said no to Bill Lawrence at Scrubs, because even if I argue, then he always wins anyway. I can always pitch. And that's how come we can work together, because I never insist. But the one time I did, he wasn't here. He was in Connecticut.
This is how I tell the story. It's a trick.
Okay.
My dad retired, so it was the first time. You can go ahead. Sorry.
That's all right.
It was the first time that I ever had to not be here while we were in production. And Krista was 8 months pregnant?
Like 6.
6 months pregnant? And big. No, yeah. She had to do a montage to music, competing with Heather Locklear.
Who, by the way, when I'm at my thin weight, normal, not pregnant weight, is like half the size of me. So already, this would have been the same argument if I wasn't pregnant, although it's a good excuse that I was pregnant, but I still would have had the same argument.
In the scene, she was supposed to try to climb up on a counter, and there's supposed to be a close-up shot of her giant
and I'm in a
pregnancy
tight,
butt.
like Diane von Furstenberg rat dress, so it's just
I wanted a full-frame
tight.
giant butt shot. And I went back to the East Coast, and the phone rang. I knew they were in production, and it was Randall Winston saying, "What do you want us to do? Krista won't do it." And I'm like, "What do you mean? Like she won't do that."
The combination of Krista being Krista, she's very persuasive. Her being a pregnant woman, and God knows what the hormones are doing, and her maybe having some body issues when Heather Locklear was on the show, combined, I think, would have just equaled either unemployment or pain for me.
And then I called up Krista. Not only did she say
she wanted me to show my big,
not only did she
fat
say she,
butt
and
right
you said,
on TV.
And you said, right now it looks like I could pick Heather Locklear up and eat her. I'm not going to show my big giant butt.
And Randall and the director and I had worked out a different way. But anyway, Bill gets on the phone and he said, "Do it." And I never have said this in 5 years. I said, "I'm not doing it."
And you
and
said
Bill's
to
in
me,
Connecticut.
You know what else you did? You said you're in Connecticut and there's nothing you can do about it, and so unless you want the show to shut down, you're stuck on this one. And then
Bill said, "Well, I'm not gonna. I'll just cut it. I won't have it in the show because it won't be funny. I'll just cut it." And I said, "Great, let's not shoot it." And then Bill got
I slammed the phone down. I tried to call different people on the crew to find someone that would have the courage to go tell Krista to do it, but she was always one person ahead of me. First off, so I would call the director, Ken Whittingham. He's like, "No, she already talked to me. I'm not going to say anything."
And then he called, and then I had Heather call him, and Heather said, "I wouldn't do it." And Heather's this big. She's like, "I wouldn't do it now." And then Bill's like,
anyways,
so mad.
I was so frustrated, but it also, I couldn't get Randall, I couldn't get the director, and I couldn't get any cast member to tell Krista that she should do it because it would be funny, because the one thing I don't think anybody said on the DVD yet is that Krista Miller is the singly most frightening person.
No, it's not true. Nadine, is that true?
No.
No.
Are you a little scared or intimidated by my wife?
Terrified.
There we go.
No, not at all.
No. Is that the right answer? Listen, Chris is a little scary, but I like that. I like that in a woman. Very scary. Very scary.
Ask a PA. She is.
It all depends on if she's going to see this.
Very scary.
Lefty. Well, here's one, by the way. Her name is not Lefty. Her name is Krista, but she's not allowed to go by Krista because...
Because Krista likes to go by Krista.
There you go.
Krista Miller Lawrence is very scary, and I'm very afraid of her. And I whenever I see her in the hallways, I tiptoe by her because if she's in a bad mood, look out. More people have been fired from Scrubs because of the wrath of Krista Miller Lawrence than by any other reason. But that having been said, I'm very, very sexually attracted to her, which is awkward because Bill is my boss. And scene.
I love Krista Miller. I would never say anything bad about Krista Miller. I think she's great. She's been great since the first day she came here.
What is the PS to that story?
The PS to that story, unfortunately, is that what she did do was very funny. And it was trying to push herself up backwards onto the counter.
It was one of everyone's favorite moments.
It annoyed me because I really wanted it to suck so I could cut it from the show and go see, and instead it's in the show.
And the funniest.
I bet you look beautiful in the moonlight. Well, I was right. Care to join me?
Did that bear used to poop in the woods?
However, if it turns out that is the guy that you're hot to slice open, might I suggest you save some time and just get a baseball bat and whack him over the head? Because you see, Junior, you're going to get the same results.
Who's pumped? I can't hear you. Dr. Wen, while you're all up in there, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to stay focused. I want you to concentrate.
Christopher, please. No one needs to be reminded to do their best. Every person in this hospital takes their job very seriously.
Pretty good? As if so, I get an available cancer patient right over here. We could throw a 6 on him. Is that too rich for you? We say we go with a bottle of pop. Yeah. All the best. Did anybody ever really do anything? I mean, were we to use the metaphor of sledding, then sure, I gave him a little push, but come on, it's not my fault he Thelma and Louise did right off the cliff, and no, I didn't see that movie.
Listen, you uptight, annoying pain in the ass.
Oh, golly, gee, sport, I don't think so. Let's see if we can find someone to break the tie. Yeah, so you know what? This is what I think.
Dr. Kelso, Dr. Kelso, there are some Cinnabons down in pediatrics.
Well, I really didn't save any... well, what the heck? Baby, why'd you stop me?
Well, I'm sorry. I love you, baby, but if you get fired, I'm gonna have to leave you.
Kitty, I don't know what to do. I just feel awful, you know?
How can I make it better?
JD, if you guys just pretend like there's nothing wrong, you're just gonna drift apart. Trust me. I mean, I look at my mom and I don't even know who she is anymore. Yes, it's partly because she's had an obscene amount of plastic surgery. I guess the one plus is she's always happy to see me.
Oh, Elliot, thank you. I appreciate it, but leave it alone.
Man, I'm not embarrassed of you. Come on. Ask anyone here, man. I was excited for your visit.
Dude, I surprised you.
Yeah. We're working hard on a cure.
That's what you're gonna look like one day. Check out Rowdy.
Yeah, he can tell. Storms are coming.
Who wants another beer?
Gosh, why don't you go ahead and say sass again?
Actually, I'd rather say conference schmonference.
You'll say sass? Yeah, I like it.
Sass.
Oh, good girl.
Wow, that sounds like a lot to do, though. Where do you want to start?
I think we should jump right to the sex shop and whatnot so we can have the fun stuff for later.
I understand that you're booked. I also know that hotels save rooms for last-minute important customers. No, but I am certainly last minute. Hello?
Well, you know what the weird thing is? I'm actually trying this time. I mean, honest to God, does Jordan really think I enjoy talking about my day to an unborn child, who's not mine, by the way, through a womb microphone?
Do you ever mention me?
Okay, so you slept with Elliot again. You need to say the perfect thing. It lets her know it's no big deal, and at the same time expresses how amazing last night was.
Whatever.
What?
I love you? No, too far the other way. Elliot.
So what? If a patient has questions in your hospital, you just ignore them?
If it isn't the familiar clippity-clop of Nurse Espinosa's high horse entering the fray. Look.
You know, Carla, I still don't have a date for my son's wedding. What do you say?
Well, that all depends. Are you going to get drunk at the reception and then be all hands for the rest of the night?
Of course not.
Then no.
Sometimes I forget how naughty you are. Me likes.
Elliot!
That's pretty much why I don't get the fights on pay-per-view anymore. You know, they're all just dancing. Nobody ever really gets hurt, and you just wind up disappointed. Not a fight fan?
How's that?
Come on, I assume you're here to tell me that you've been dropping the ball a little bit, even though the thought of admitting something like that to me makes you want to pee your jammies.
Kevin, I don't get it.
I know one thing for sure. If you're having any second thoughts at all, you should get out while you still can.
Come on, there are so few surprises left in this world.
Well, how about I get my way for once? Because I gotta tell you, that'd just about knock me out. You know, Jordan, this is ridiculous. I'm gonna find out the sex of the baby. Dr. Gerson and I are colleagues, for God's sake.
Yes, and she's also a conscientious doctor who knows if she tells you, I'll rip her little blonde heart out.
Not always easy to do the right thing.
Dr. Kelso, could you please sign his discharge form?
Of course.
Oh, she ain't with him, and she ain't with me. She's with Rowdy. Wait, who's the upside down pretty lady? Wait, pretty lady. I'll tell you in the morning. I just put him anywhere.
Hey, you can't celebrate without beer. You're absolutely right.
No thanks. I already ordered a Cavassier.
But unfortunately, the CAT scan suggests a laceration in your spleen, which is why I asked for a surgical consult.
I'd like to schedule a laparotomy for this afternoon.
And the day just keeps getting better.
Seeing as you were most likely in labor, I totally forgive you for the biggest bitch in the universe contest that you apparently entered earlier.
That's the end of that.
Come on, Turk. We know what we did, man. It's always going to be in the back of our heads like this burden. And then one day, when we least expect it, the karma guy will get it. I told you I don't believe in that.
Still, this means nothing.
So that I'm actually starting to think that being with someone that I've already been divorced to once and who is now pregnant with another man's child may not necessarily be the perfect relationship for me. I mean, I don't even know what I'm saying here.
Look.
I can't wait to get my sweat on.
Dude, if I couldn't exercise, I'd kill myself. Hey, man, what's up?
240 quarters, please.
Well, that makes sense. Good. Come on, you promised you'd go for a walk with me. I've been sitting around doing paperwork so long I had to massage my own butt to get the tingles out. Oh, come on now. She gets it for that? Turk, dreams are reflections of what you really want.
No, they're not.
Uh-huh. Remember that time you dreamt you ate marshmallows? What'd you do the next day?
Ate marshmallows.
That's why I'm so disappointed.
Carla already said you didn't care. Why are you being such a nervous Purvis? Just made that up.
Except that time I had that dream about Holly Berry, but it wasn't a sex thing, because she was trying to hit me with a fish. The point is, I'm scared this is telling me something.
I'm guessing you're feeling like you finally took on the old man in a game of Gil.
Still rolling for the top.
Which is surprising coming from you, but...
A bunch of kids doesn't care about being a janitor.
It doesn't?
What did I say, doesn't?
Still rolling.
A bunch of kids doesn't care about... Damn it.
Still rolling.
Don't. Bunch of kids don't. Well, a bunch doesn't. Kids don't, a bunch. Kids.
What isn't?
I was thinking about what you said, and you're right. This is false. I apologize.
Probably saved your life on account of catching it so early.
This envelope just came back from the county coroners. Apparently, instead of last month's death certificates, you sent in your application for the perfect match dating service. Now, as long as one of your turn-ons is long walks, why don't you take one to the post office and mail those damn certificates? And what is an orgasm? An ingasm.
What is an orgasm?
Why am I standing like this?
I'm not quite sure. You're holding on to your package. You're trying to keep your package
No, but I
down.
mean-
Let's start from the top.
Right, I have questions.
Yes.
Well, if you don't want it gets mildewy.
You should move in with my friend. Ah! You should move with him. You should move in with my friend. You should move in.
Sorry. Time to give that old weasel a piece of my shizzle and nizzle. Ready? No, okay. Time to go give that windbag a healthy dose of what's what, JD style.
Here it goes.
Whoa, wait. You know what? Mr. What's his name?
Mr. Woodbury!
Come on, come on. It's a long time to give that old windbag a piece of what's what.
His office is. We have to
I got more,
wait
player.
for you.